I am speed, fast as fuck, boy. Hell yeah, look at me go. It's very seldom that you'll get someone that's got something this tiny and still calls it pretty good. So this idea started a few days ago. I was out shopping at Walmart and found this little Adventure Force scooter for like $12.99, I think it was. And I started realizing, well, it's pretty small. I've got an electric motor at home and spare batteries and all that good stuff, so I figured I'd try to put something together. Now what you're seeing is a 550 motor with a planetary gear drive that came off Amazon. It's a 3.5 to 1 gear ratio. And I just need to make really just a mounting plate's the only real fabrication that's involved. And so with that, we're just gonna grab a chunk of metal, some masking tape and a pin. And we have our very accurately drawn little motor mount here that was taken much care with measurements, of course, as always here on this channel. I'm gonna go ahead and just cut it out kind of roughly, because there'll be plenty of time to shave it down or grind anything away as needed, but I'd rather just cut it out just a little bit large. That way I know it'll fit, and if it's too big, I can always cut some off with ease. And with that, now we've got our little plate that can move up and down. I'm gonna go ahead and just pop some holes in it so that I can mount to the scooter itself. And with 3 holes in a row like this, I can go ahead and get the reamer and start making those 3 holes turn into a nice long slot for adjustment. This will be mounted to the axle portion of the scooter. That way the motor can slide up and down further or closer to the tire itself. And with that, our motor mount plate is almost complete. Just a little bit more to go with mounting the motor to it. So right now we got to take this hole right up here and make it quite a bit larger so it fits the index of the motor. And if you don't have a caliper with you, you could always just find a washer that fits over the index and try to find a drill bit that fills the washer up. So with that, we chose our right drill bit, popped a bigger hole in there, and that leaves us 2 smaller holes to make. It's the little screws that hold the motor to the actual plate itself. But for now, I'm just kind of test fitting it, seeing if everything's in a good lineup where I want it to be. And it looks like it is. It is interfering with the back brake, so that'll come off here in a little while. And if you're doing this without calipers, something real easy to mark out where the holes need to be is I like to put a couple of screws into the front of the motor itself, get them all wet with a Sharpie, and just stab it home. And right there, you can see exactly where the screws were, and that'll get you really, really close. I popped a couple holes in there, sanded the plate, and I'm gonna go ahead and just give it a quick rattle can paint job. I'm not gonna worry too much about keeping dirt or anything out of it. We're not building a Ferrari today, so this should be just fine. If it's shiny, it's good enough. And while that's drying, I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of the back brake. And something I need to get from the hardware store is some better stainless screws to hold on the motor to the motor mount itself. The screws I have are pretty short. And there we have it. We got a little bag full of goodies, a couple of new screws for the front of the motor. And back at my shop, the little switch has arrived. Now this is just a generic automotive ignition switch. But I think that'll be just fine to power this. I think it was a 35 amp. Something like that, I'm not too sure, but it should be plenty. So we're gonna go ahead and pop a hole right about there. And the switch will be fed in through the bottom. We're gonna go ahead and twist this little rubber ring on, make it nice and tight. And that should be just fine. When you step forward, it'll depress the button, and away it goes. Now we still have plenty of ground clearance. We're still about 1.25 inches off the ground or so. And the last thing to really do, besides some wiring, is try to mount this battery. Now it's a little bit bigger. I thought it would kind of fit in the middle of the channels. It doesn't, but we're gonna live with it. And just like the switch, there's still plenty of ground clearance. I'm not too worried about it. So we're gonna go ahead and take an old piece of road sign and bend it up to make a nice little aluminum mount to semi-permanently bolt the battery in. It's just a nickel metal cadmium, so it's just got the 2 wires coming out, so there's no balance lead or anything. And once the road sign piece is all bent to shape, I'm gonna go ahead and cut it to length and drill a hole on either end of it. And these bolt holes would be perfect to run some self-drilling screws right through into the chassis. And just a little piece of bicycle tire rubber just to make a nice little cushion, and the battery is clamped in there pretty good. I think we're just about done, except for some wires. They say that size doesn't matter. You know, I think they were mostly just being polite my whole life, until I showed them this. Now the motor on this thing is barely straining, so I'm gonna go ahead and increase the spindle size to make this thing at least go 6. But you know, for a 1 hour build, this thing's not bad. Just gotta increase the motor speed or the spindle size. It doesn't have a variable throttle, but all you have to do is just hit this little button with your foot when you're wanting to go, and you go. Well, hopefully in the near future, I can make this thing go a couple miles an hour faster. But you know, for something that fits in a backpack and goes a walking speed, not bad. We've probably reached the speed of Mosey. Does this beat walking? Nah. But it's kind of fun, I guess. Well, guys, for a 1 hour build, I'm pretty happy with this thing. It turned out ridiculously small. But like I was saying, I do got to increase the spindle size for the friction drive. I think once that's changed, this thing should be able to go at least 6 or 8 miles an hour. And breaking down the size of the battery and how many amps the motor draws, this should go like 15, 18 minutes, which I've been out here for quite a while making loops and doing the little footage shots and all. Battery hasn't come down at all, it seems like. I'm using a nickel metal cadmium. And the motor itself, not hot by any means. So I think we could definitely drive this thing at a much higher ratio and get some speed out of this thing. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching and enjoying my little $12 1 hour build. I think it worked out pretty good. And I will see you guys in the next one.